Hello everyone, my name is Sandeep Bhatia, Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Rajkumar Goyal Institute of Technology, Ghaziabad. So, in a series of lectures delivering for a subject microcontroller and embedded systems design having code KEC 061, we have completed our unit number first, and in unit second we have started with the MSP 430 microcontroller block diagram. So, in this lecture we will discuss the MSP 430 pin diagram and memory layout. These are the table of contents for today lecture, that is a specific block diagram of MSP 430 microcontroller, overview of MSP 430 architecture, pin diagram of MSP 430 microcontroller, memory layout of MSP 430. So, we will cover all these topics. In a previous lecture we have discussed a general block diagram of MSP 430 microcontroller, but today we will discuss the specific block diagram of microcontroller. That is, there are various series of microcontrollers available, we have seen in previous lecture. So, let us start with the first topic, that is specific block diagram of MSP 430. So, what is the meaning of specific? That is dedicated for some task, that is, it means that it has a particular function, it has a dedicated set of functions. So, in the previous lecture we have discussed a general block diagram which is used for some general purpose, and in the previous lecture we have seen that there are various family there are various members available in the family of MSP 430 architecture. So, today we will discuss the specific block diagram, that is MSP 430 G2 30T 302 functional block diagram. So, before going into much detail, we will see what is the meaning of the MSP. We will revise some of the things. So, basically MSP stands for mixed signal processor. F3 is series, G is its memory type, and this is the members of the its family of G series. Okay. So, basically mixed signal processor means that it can work on both the analog and the digital signals. It is compatible with both the signals, whether it is analog or digital. So, MSP have a very advanced feature as compared to the previous microcontrollers. So, basically it has a ultra low power consumption. Among all the microcontrollers available, MSP 430 has very less power consumption as compared to the other microcontrollers. It has an instant wake up time, that is, instant wake up time means that if it is in the rest state, ideal state, its wake up time is very less as compared to others. It has an intelligent set of peripherals and compatible switching system. All these features make our MSP 430 is most important microcontrollers, most prevalent microcontrollers as compared to others. So, as you seen in figure, this is the specific block diagram of MSP 430 G2302. Here you can see the various blocks, right from the intelligence clock system, 16 MHz CPU, JTAG emulation, all the blocks are connected through some common buses. Here you can see that there are common buses for all the blocks. There are two types of buses, MAB, master address bus, and the master data bus. So, all the blocks share common signals, all are interconnected with each other. So, in the previous lecture we have seen that MSP 430 is basically a 16-bit RISC processor. 16-bit RISC processor. It means that it can work on 16-bit of data bus at a time. So, reduced instruction set computing, it has a processor based upon the RISC architecture. Okay. So, all the blocks are connected with each other. So, there is a common bus, and this bus is connected to the 16 megahertz CPU. This 16-bit CPU has a frequency of 16 megahertz. It has 16 registers. We will see in the further lectures what are the various set of registers available in the MSP 430. And there is a flexible clock system. Flexible clock system means that there are three types of clock system in MSP 430. First one is the master clock, second one is the auxiliary clock, and third one is the sum main clock. So, to trigger a particular block, there is a separate system of the buses. For example, if we can say we want to trigger CPU, then there is a master clock for that. So, master clock will provide the particular trigger pulses to activate the CPU. So, auxiliary clock and SM blocks are used to trigger another blocks. So flexible clocking system means that if we are not using any particular block, then it will be in the rest state, and for particular clock system it will send a 0 pulses. Okay. So another one is the emulation circuit. Emulation means that for debugging or testing the circuit, we need some emulator circuit. Okay. There is a JTAG interface. JTAG means that it has a joint test action group. It is basically a industry protocols which is used to test or verifying the circuits after manufacture from the industry. Okay. There is a SPI by wire. It is particular a part of the JTAG interface. It is basically a JTAG interface protocols. It has 2 wire. We will see in the further lectures, and JTAG has a 4 wire. There is a brownout protection circuit. Brownout basically a circuit which needs to remove the brownout system. Basically, if we have a low power supply, then what will the brownout protection circuit will do? It will reset the system in case MSP 430 will not get sufficient power supply. Okay. So this is the role of the brownout protection circuit. To trigger the brownout reset circuit, we need to supply the restart or the non-maskable interrupt. So basically, brownout reset circuit will create interrupt signals. Basically, if we want to reset our system in case of low power supply, then the brownout protection circuit, whatever the signal it is supply, it is basically in the form of the interrupt. Okay. There is a watchdog timer. It is represented at WDT plus. Basically, plus means that it is incremented. Okay. So watchdog timer is basically a timer which is used to reset or restart the microcontroller if there is any software fault, if a processor is trapped in an infinite loop. Okay. This is the function of the watchdog timer. So it is available as a 15-bit. So there is timers are available, timers or counter. In this there is a timer A3 which has 3 compare and counter registers. There is a universal serial interface to interface the serial port with the MSP 430. So if we want to interface any external system with the MSP 430 chip, this is chip, then we will use the universal serial interface ports. So this is there is a flash memory. We can read or write anything. It is available in the 8 kilobyte, 4 kilobyte, 2 kilobyte, 1 kilobyte. There is a RAM. It is available in the 256 byte. There is a analog to digital converter. It has a 10-bit 8-channel auto scan mode, 1 channel in the DMA mode. It has a 2 ports, port 1 and port 0. It has port 1 is available as a 8 input output interrupt capability pull up down registers, and port 2 is available as a 8 input output interrupt capability pull up down registers. So all the components are integrated on the same chip in the same microcontroller chip. Okay. So this is the some functions of the specific microcontroller, that is MSP 430 G230T, which is a series of microcontrollers and which has a ultra low power mixed signal microcontrollers with built-in 16-bit timers. We have seen here that, and up to 16 input output touch sense enabled pins. Okay. So after that, we will see the some of the most important functions of MSP 430 architectures. In the previous lecture, we have seen the detailed explanation of each and n function. Today, we will discuss some important functions of MSP 430. So in a architecture, we will first we will see the architecture of MSP 430. This is the architecture of a 430 microcontroller. We have seen the block diagram. In the block diagram, we have seen the detailed description of each and every block. So in the architecture, we will see the just a overview of the MSP 430. So there is a flexible clock system. Okay, we have seen that flexible clock system means that if we do not want to use the flash memory or CPU, then particular clock will in the 0 state. It will not supply anything. Okay, it has a RISC CPU, 16-bit processor. We have seen that this microcontroller is basically 16-bit. It means that it will work on the 16 bits of data at a time. Okay, it has a RISC CPU. It has a JTAG or debug interface to debug the to verify or debug our system. It has a RAM memory and it has a ports. Dot means that there are numerous blocks in between that. So this is basically architecture: port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3, according to the particular members of a family. And there is a watchdog timer. To trigger watchdog timer, we need auxiliary clock and a SM clock. And we have seen that what is the function of the watchdog timer. There is analog peripherals available and digital peripherals available. And this block diagram, you can see that all the blocks are shared common address bus and the data bus. So basically, if this architecture share common address bus and data bus, this has a von Neumann architecture. We have seen that what is von Neumann architecture in our previous lectures. So in von Neumann architecture, there is a common address and data in between the our system. Okay. So come to the features. First one is the 16-bit RISC CPU. It has a 16-bit architecture and its processor based on the RISC system, that is a reduced instruction set computing. It has a program memory, ROM or EEPROM, and a data memory available, that is ROM, RAM and EEPROM. Okay. There is a watchdog timer system in MSP 430. In other microcontrollers, watchdog timer not present, and there is a JTAG interface. There is input output ports available. These ports vary according to the particular members of a family of MSP 430. There is a flexible clock system. We have seen that there are 3 types of clock: A clock, some main clock, and the last one is the master clock. Okay. Flexible clock system. Flexible means it has each block has a feature to connect particular clock system. There is a peripheral modules available, analog peripherals, digital peripherals in MSP 430, oscillator circuitry available. What is the role of the oscillator? Oscillator creates particular clock pulses to trigger our MSP 430 microcontroller. There is a frequency hardware multiplier available. Okay. Multiplier features available in our MSP 430. So basically, this architecture of MSP 430 family is based on a memory to memory architecture. And there is a common address space. We have seen that there is a common address and data space for all the function blocks and a reduced instruction set. We have seen that it is based upon the RISC processor, and that is applicable for all the functional blocks. So whether it is any members of a family, it is based upon the 16-bit RISC processor. Okay. Now come to the next point, that is this is basically a just a more detailed description of the MSP 430. Here you can see it, all the functionals are integrated on the same chip. So basically MSP 430 basically this is a chip. Okay. So all the components are integrated on the same chips. So what we are discussing, whether it is a block diagram, whether it is a particular architecture of a members of a family of MSP 430, all the components finally are integrated on the same chip. So blocks may vary according to the family, according to the members of the family. Okay. But the common blocks will be, but some of the blocks are common in our each and every members of a family. Okay. So flexible clock system is there, flash or RAM memory is there. There is a common address and data space, digital peripherals and analog peripherals, and 16-bit RISC processor, JTAG interface. These are the common blocks in which is available in each and every members of the family of MSP 430 microcontroller. Okay. So now we will start with the pin diagram of MSP 430. Pin diagram of MSP 430. Basically, MSP 430 is a integrated chip. This is basically IC. So we need to learn we need to have an overview of what are the particular pins available in this MSP 430 IC. So if we look into this diagram, you can see that there are total of 14 pins available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. There are total of 14 pins available in our MSP 430 microcontroller. This dot represents that the system, the one is starting from here. Okay. And this is basically a DIP package, dual inline package. What is the meaning of dual inline package? Dual means that if we have a 14 pins, then 7 is divided into both sides. Okay. If we can see that there are other packages available like quad flat core packages. So so it depends upon the manufacturer to use what particular type of package for to manufacture a IC. Okay. So first number pin is dedicated to the VCC. VCC is basically have a signal 1. It is the basically power supply to the circuit. Basically it is the power supply to the circuit. Power supply to the circuit. So if we want to supply a power to the MSP 430 IC, we will supply from here. Okay. Similarly, if we want to have a ground system, so ground is provided into the pin number 14. This is ground. Ground means it has a signal 0 and VCC it has a signal 1. Okay. Let us erase all the things so that we will have a clear overview of the rest of the pins. So after that, pin number 2 have a P1.0. What is the meaning of P1.0 or P3.2? What is meanings? If we look into the P1.0, that is, it means it has a port 1, and in port 1 there is 8 pins, and 0 represent pin number first, that is 0 pin. So if we talking about P3.2, that it has a port 3 and pin number 2. If we will look into the P3.3, it means it has a port 3 and pin number 3. So basically it is Px.y. X means the port number and Y means the its particular bit number. Okay. So P1.1 means that it is a port number 1 and pin number 1, TA0, A0 minus A4 plus, P1.2, P1.3. So if you look into all the pins, you can see that there is not a single function of particular pin. There this pin is dedicated to some other functions as well. Okay. There is alternative functions in particular bit. P1.4 SM clock in pin number 6, in pin number 7, P1.5, that is system clock. Ground, we have seen that ground is dedicated to the 14 number pin, and 13 and 20 pin, basically it is used for to produce the, it works as an oscillator to produce the desired clock frequency to trigger our MSP 430. So basically the frequency will be provided by using these two pins, pin number 12 and pin number 13. Pin number 11 is dedicated to the test pin. To test a circuit, we will use this particular pin, and 10 number pin is basically restart or interrupts are available in pin number 10, non-maskable interrupt. Non-maskable interrupt means that the interrupt which cannot be disabled. Maskable means that the interrupt which can be disabled, but non-maskable interrupt means that if particular interrupt is coming into this pin, this cannot be disabled. That means non-maskable interrupt which cannot be disabled. Okay, pin number 9 is dedicated to P1.7, pin number 8 is dedicated to P1.6. So these are the pin diagram of the MSP 430. In next lecture, in next slide, we will see the detailed description of each and every pin. So we can see that there is a this is available at 20 pin plastic. Basically we are talking about the 14 pin. In particular, members of our family of MSP 430, pin numbers may be vary. It may be a 14 pin, it may be 18 pin, it may be a 20 pin dual in line plastic package. Okay. It will depend upon the manufacturer or particular industry to use which particular IC for to manufacture MSP 430. Its operating voltage is 2.5 to 5.4 volt. Okay, 5.5 volt. So within this range, our MSP 430 microcontroller will be compatible. Its operating frequency is 2.5 to 5.5 volt. Less than 2.5 will not work, and greater than 5.5 will not work. Operating frequency range should be lie within these values. Okay. So next is its standby mode are 1.5 microampere. Standby mode that if we are not using MSP 430 microcontroller, it will in the ideal state, and to transfer ideal state to the our active state, its standby mode are 1.5 microampere. It will take very less time to trigger from the ideal state to the active state. Its off mode wrap retention is 0.1 microampere, very less compared to the other microcontrollers available. It has a serial onboard programming. There is a serial onboard port available in the MSP 430. So VCC and VSS, VCC is available in the pin number 1 and VSS is available in the pin number 14. We have seen in the previous slide. So basically this is the supply voltage and this is the ground. So its value is 1 and its value is 0. Ground means 0. Okay. Pin 1.0 to 1.7, P2.6 and P2.6 are for digital input and analog output grouped into ports 1 and 2. Okay. After that, TAC clock, TAG1 and TA0. Basically timers, these are dedicated to the timers. These are associated with the timers. T means the timers. Okay. So there is a timer A available. So TA clock can be used to clock input to the timer. So we want to give input to the timer, this signal will be used. While TA0 and TA1 can be either inputs or outputs. It may be either works as in both the mode, either in input mode or the output mode. So these can be used to on several pins because of the importance of the timers. After that, A0 minus and A0 plus and so on up to A4 plus, these works as the input to the analog to digital converter. We will want to trigger the analog to digital converter, we will use these pins. So it has 4 differential channels, each of which has negative and positive inputs. So V reference is the reference voltage for the converter. So basically V reference is the reference voltage. What is the role of the V reference? V reference is used to provide the reference voltage to the MSP430 microcontroller. So basically the range of the microcontroller we have seen that 2.8 to 3.3 volt. Okay. So if the voltage supply is less than the 2.8, let us consider here is if this is 1.5. If this is 1.5, then the V reference signal will tell the MSP430 that the supply voltage less than our reference voltage, and for that there is some converter to convert this frequency to the particular frequency required to trigger the MSP430. So we have seen that auxiliary clock and SM clock are outputs for the microcontrollers clock signals. Auxiliary clock and SM clocks are used to trigger the rest of the blocks other than the CPU. To trigger the CPU, we will use the master clock. Okay. So S clock, SD clock and SC clocks. Basically, we have seen that MSP430 has a serial port interface. So these signals are associated with the serial port in MSP430. So serial data output, serial clock are available in MSP430, which communicates with external devices using the serial peripheral interface. In the previous lecture, we have seen that there are 2 protocols used in our MSP430 for serial programming, SPI, serial peripheral interface. In our second or third lecture, we have seen that, and integrated bus circuit. Basically, these are the serial port available. X in and X out is used to provide the particular clock frequency to the MSP430. We have seen that. Restart is basically a low active low signals. Active low means that it remains high near for VCC for normal operation and is brought to low. Basically, this will be if we want to activate this particular pin, it will be brought to low, that is connected to the 0. NMI means that non-maskable interrupt. We have seen that non-maskable means which cannot be disabled, which allow an external signal to interrupt the normal operation of the program. TC clock and TDI, TD0, TMS are associated with the timers, and these are used to test or debug the circuit. So basically, for that there is a JTAG interface, Joint Test Action Group. Basically, this is the industry standard protocols. So last one is the SB WTDIO and SBW. SBW means that SPI. S means SPI wire circuit, SPI bidirectional wire circuit. So basically, this is the part of the JTAG which is used to debugging the circuit. This is basically an alternative to the usual JTAG connection that save pins. So basically, by using SPI by wire, we can save our pins. Okay. So this is the MSP430 pin out. Next topic is the memory layout MSP430. Memory layout means that we are talking about the memory distribution. We will talking about the memory distribution. So it has a address space from 0000 to FF. So we will see what is the distribution of the particular stacks in this particular memory. So all memory, whether it is including RAM, flash, ROM, information memory, special function registers and peripheral registers are mapped into a single contiguous address space. Single contiguous address space means that whatever the type of memory available, it will be available in a single continuous address space that vary from 0000 to FF. So the CPU is capable of addressing data values either as bytes or bits or words. Bytes means 8 bits and word means 16 bits. So it is compatible with both the bytes and the bits. So the MSP430 available with either flash or ROM memory. We have seen that. So what is the distribution of the flash devices? How we know that MSP430 has a flash devices? Flash means it is there is a letter F in the particular members of the family. So other is the ROM devices, there is the ROM devices available. How to identify the ROM? It is basically a code memory. So there will a C represent in the MSP430 family. After that 430, there may be a G, there may be a F, there may be a C for the ROM devices. It has a 8-bit operations. It works on the 8-bit and 16-bit operations as well. 8-bit operation works on the odd value and 16-bit operation works on the even values. It has an interrupt vector table, and it has a basically it has a range from 0FFE0 to 0FFFF. So we will see in the diagram. The start address varies between 0110H 60K devices to 0F800F in 2K devices. We will see here that this is the basically a distribution of the memory in the stacks, starting from the 00000 just a second, starting from the 0002 00002 FFFH. So there is a distribution of the memory in our address space. This is contiguous address space. So you can see that there is SFR available from 00000 to 000F, 8-bit peripherals, 16-bit peripherals available from 00102 to 01FF, and RAM memory available from 0200 09FF, and we can see that information memory and boot memory available from 0C00 to 010FFH, flash memory available from the 01100 to 0FFDH, and interrupt, and in the last interrupt vector table available up to FFFF. So all this is the contiguous memory space, and you can see that the access of the data is maybe in either the word or the byte, that is 16 bits or 8 bits. Okay. So in the last slide we will see that there is a distribution of memory. So this is the explanation. So what we have seen, there is a code memory available, we have seen that, and there is flash memory. Flash means we can read or write anything in the memory. So there is a flash devices available in between the address 0C00 to 0FFF. You can see that this is the range of the flash memory. Okay. So after that, bootstrap loader, basically bootstrap is used to debug the device. Okay. So it is connected with the JTAG interface. Okay. So there is a RAM space available 0200, and there are 16-bit peripherals and 8-bit peripherals available. We have seen its address range, and there in the last there is a interrupt vector table available from 0000 to 005F. Interrupt enables, interrupt flags and enable flags are available in memory layout of MSP 430. So thank you everyone for your patience.